Twinkle, twinkle, little star,
He's alive!
Welcome to where the weird ones are.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out.
Powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards or perhaps extraterrestrials.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.
Let's get weird.
What's up, you fucking weirdos? Welcome to another episode of Where the Weird Ones Are. My name is Kevin, but you probably already knew that, and if you didn't, now you do. Today's episode is episode 73 with Ashlie. She goes by Ghost Story Girl on Instagram, so you should check her shit out. I do believe she's a photographer. But yeah, she has some interesting stories. Her what sounds like her dad and her have a really tight bond, which I think is freaking phenomenal. But yeah, so we also share the same. Well, I can't really like pinpoint like an actual favorite horror movie, but uh her favorite horror movie is one of like my top 10, I would say. So we share that. We have that in common. So, but she's a wicked sweet. She's a wicked sweet lady. She's from Orlando, Florida. Um, I enjoyed talking to her, and hopefully, I could have her on again. In the near future. So, um, but with that being said, please check her out on Instagram. I can't remember if she said she had a YouTube or not for her investigations, but I don't. But I'm sure if she does, it's in her profile. Actually, you want to know what? While we're sitting here, um, I'll just look at her profile again because I knew her. So when I first you know, put that the episode was coming out, um, I wrote her name incorrectly, and I knew her name wasn't spelled like most Ashley's are. So when she corrected me, I felt so freaking stupid. I got to tell you that. But let's see, where is she? Yeah, she's got a link tree in her bio. Um, so for yeah. So I don't think she's on YouTube, but go to her Instagram profile and check out her link tree. Again, she was amazing to talk to, and para-unity is everything. So, but so I just got back late last night. Well, actually, early this morning from Kentucky for CryptidCon. CryptidCon was a lot of fun. Got to hang out with Drew and Zook from Cryptid Warfare. That was fun. Kind of just like broed out all weekend. Felt like a fucking teenager again. So that was fucking awesome. Hopefully, do that more. Zook was trying to talk me into moving to Tennessee like all weekend. But yeah, there was a lot of cool people there. Met Ronnie LeBlanc for the second time. Martin Groves, dude, that guy is a sweet heart of a man, dude. Like the minute I started talking to him till when I walked away, dude, he was just like so happy to just talk to somebody. And he's like that with everybody that came to his table, you know. Very warm and welcoming dude. So that was pretty great. Met Michael Thompson again for the second time, and he's gonna be coming on again here soon to talk about his second installment of um, his Hoffner series. I can't remember his character's first name for some freaking reason, and I didn't put the book on the bookshelf yet. But I bought his I think is it William Hoffner? I think it's William Hoffner. His William Hoffner series, and he illustrates it like himself. All the illustrations and stuff are all his own artwork, um and yeah, it's amazing, dude. He's a wicked friendly dude too. Who else was there that I met up with? Well, Cryptid Warfare was, Cryptids of the Corn was there. Talked to them briefly. Um, Pretty much every event in the South that I've gone to, all three, they've been a part of. Um, so that was cool. But, anyways, if you like today's episode, please like, follow, share, subscribe. Leave a rating and a review. A review on Apple Podcasts would be great. I have a few actually. Todd Hedges from Middle Age and Creeped Out gave me a review, um, which I did not. I mean, I didn't expect any any reviews like this one. So Todd says, this podcast is one I found pretty recently and glad I did. Kevin does a great job with his interviews and is one of the most genuine dudes doing a podcast. His show discusses all kinds of weird topics. He's laid back, respectful, and has a good sense of humor. Please check this show out and you won't regret it. Todd, co-host of Middle Aged and Creeped Out podcast. Thanks, Todd. That means a lot to me. You don't have any idea how much that actually means to me. So go check out their podcast because that podcast is amazing. I've said that a few times now. But Arnie back in February gave me a review too, and I didn't never saw it. I didn't because I wasn't paying attention to the reviews and stuff. But he said, "Let me first say this one of the chillest paranormal podcasts I've ever listened to. He has a true passion for broadcasting and interviewing. All his shows are awesome. He keeps the questions coming. Also, some of the most interesting topics of the paranormal. I see bigger doors opening for Kevin. He is very talented. Follow and tune in to this show. It doesn't disappoint." So Arnie's an amazing dude too. He's an paranormal investigator. He was in Florida, but he is now in New Jersey. So check him out at El Hantino on Instagram. He puts up a lot of his evidence. So, but yeah. Um, with that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a good night. Whatever time you decide to listen to this. Yeah, it was today was this episode was a lot of fun. It was just like talking to an old friend, and again, Ashlie is a sweet woman, and I hope you guys all check her out on Instagram and check out her link tree and all the stuff that she has going on. And then Friday is a roundtable discussion with Black Smoke Paranormal 305 Paranormal and Joe Hunt's Ghost. They're all a part of War Party Paranormal down in Florida. And yeah, we have a pretty good discussion. So stay tuned for that on Friday. And I was talking about doing my own event right? My own convention, and then out of nowhere, this paranormal group. It's a married couple. They go by Paranormal 5. I It's them and their 3 children. And they're actually doing an event in June here in my town. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna put one on myself this year. Instead, I think I might try and I think I'm gonna support theirs and try and advertise their event. So if anybody's interested, they are looking for vendors. So it's Sanford, Maine, at the Memorial Gym. So again, if you're interested, you can find them on Facebook at Paranormal 5. I believe there's a link in there for you to become a vendor. So I think I'm probably going to vend. It's June 8th. So yeah. So go check. I mean, if you're not interested, but still, I mean, still go check out their Instagram and their Facebook. So they're good people, I promise. Anyways, that is it. Let's get into it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Let's get weird. Weird. Get weird.
So Ashley, who also goes by Ghost Story Girl Florida on Instagram, um, how are you tonight on this spooky evening of I guess what do they call it? Beggar's Night um or is there other names, do you know?
I'm not entirely sure. I think I've just called it Halloween.
That's good. Halloween.
Yeah.
So when did you start your spooky Instagram account?
I started my account, Ghost Story Girl, on Instagram in March of this year, 2023.
Nice. Nice.
So it's pretty new.
Yeah. And you're investigator. How long have you been investigating?
So I've been investigating on and off, starting in high school. I got really into it when we would go on family vacations. We'd take the historical ghost tours. I always loved history. And from there, on one of those tours, I kind of had an experience. And so my dad and I started to go on investigations by ourselves. Like we would book rooms in haunted hotels and stay and do the whole bit. This was like early 2000s, I'd say. 2004,
Nice.
2005.
That's awesome. So I'm gonna ask you about that experience, but I noticed your t-shirt and your blanket on your couch. So
Oh, yep. Gotta represent.
yeah, the American Werewolf in London is on her t-shirt for everybody that's listening and not watching the video, and then she has Frankenstein blanket on her couch. So, what is your favorite horror movie?
It is American Werewolf in London.
Is it?
1981. Yes, for sure. I love it.
That's
But I do love film and horror movies. I originally went to school at UCF for film, so I absolutely love it.
nice, nice. I think the American Werewolf in London is probably one of the best, hands down, werewolf movies ever made, and it was
I,
made in the 80s.
I
So,
know.
like
Mhm.
in a lot of werewolf movies that have come out today are can't like hold a candle to it, in my opinion.
Nope.
Um, so I remember watching it when I was young and being scared, like actually
Yeah.
scared. So
Rick Baker is amazing. horror designs and the costumes and the transformation of the werewolf is just iconic.
Yes,
sure.
I agree 100%. So this encounter that you had on this tour, was that your first ever?
Yes, and it wasn't an encounter in the traditional paranormal sense.
Okay.
It was with Haunted Orlando Tours. I think this was around 2004 at the time. And it was with a man named Emilio San Martin, I remember. And my dad and I did a downtown Orlando ghost tour because I think we were up here. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale, so we were up here visiting college and things like that. And we decided to kind of go on this ghost tour last minute downtown. And we toured a few buildings downtown, which is I now cover now, which is funny. It's kind of a full circle thing. But we wound up in the old courthouse, which is now the Orlando Regional History Center. And they told us some history. They told us little tidbits like Ted Bundy had one of his trials there, and look at this desk. He carved his name in this desk. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it was part of the tour. So yeah, kind of enhancing the mystique of everything. And we got into this one area of the courthouse. It wasn't the main part. It was a little back room. And Emilio had told us, okay, I'm not going to tell you anything about this room. I'm just going to let you be in here for a little bit. And if anything at all pops in your mind, let me know. Like, even if it makes absolutely no sense, let me know. And this was the first time on any tour anyone had done anything like this. So I remember just telling myself, because I wanted to have an experience, I wanted to see something. I wanted to be proven paranormal exists. So I remember telling myself, take a deep breath, just stay very calm and like open, be open, be open. I kept saying over and over in my mind. And as soon as I did that, this kind of flash in my mind's eye came, and it was like, the letters on the subway station signs in New York City, the circle letters,
Yes.
like
Yep.
E line or whatever, A line. It was an E inside of a circle, just like that just kind of popped into my mind. Okay. And I hesitated at first to say anything to him. But he just kept asking, is anyone feeling anything, seeing anything? What are your thoughts? And I said, something with the letter E. I'm just seeing a letter E. And he waited a few minutes to see if anyone else was going to chime in. And then he wound up saying that the room was associated with the ghost of a little girl named Emily, who died in the 1930s. She was really young. I think she's supposed to be an 8-year-old little girl ghost, a playful spirit. And she's said to haunt the courthouse because it was the last place she saw her family together, because she went through a very horrible custody battle or something like this. I haven't verified this history or anything. This was just one of my first experiences with investigations and things like that. And I just remember being really freaked out. Like, that was just odd.
I would have had the same feelings, I think.
Yeah, it was weird. It was kind of like, what? Like, and I still to this day take more of a position of a skeptic, just questioning accepted opinions and questioning everything, as I've yet to really been shown any actual evidence of hauntings. But that personal experience, I can't really explain that. So that kind of got me hooked. And I remember I stayed in contact with him and his group for a little bit, but I was too young. I was still in high school to do anything or join anything. And I lived in Fort Lauderdale, so that didn't go anywhere for a while. I think from there, since I got hooked, my parents allowed us to, when we visited New Orleans, book a stay as well in the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville. Wow. Yeah, that was cool. In, I think, the next year, 2005.
trying to free your mind, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. And by walking through it, my friends, head on over to www.deeperdown.store. There you will find some sick-ass threads, AI-inspired art on t-shirts, hoodies, flip-flops and cups, and motherfucking tote bags. I promise you, my friends, if you follow the rabbit, you will not be disappointed. You can also find __ down the dot rabbit hole _ on Instagram. He has thousands of followers, and he shows you deep down the rabbit hole on conspiracies, hauntings, and cryptids. I highly recommend you subscribe for $2.99 a month. Also, if you check out his store, upon checkout, enter code KevinsWeird18. There, my friends, you will get 18% off of your purchase. So please, I highly recommend and suggest to you to go check out his store. David is a good friend and he deserves the utmost respect, and I wish him nothing but success. But this is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And so my dad and I went and did that as like a little side trip. I remember reading the book that was out, I think that same year at the time, like The Myrtles, True History of by the owner, who wrote that book, and reading it there. And I think I just really creeped myself out. But we did stay in the, what was it, the Judge Woodruff or suite on the second floor. Let me think here. Yeah, Judge Clark Woodruff suite. So it's an entire suite on the second floor of the house, because it's kind of like a bed and breakfast style. You stay inside the house. Yep. And it had a complete bathroom and it had a main bedroom with one of those 4-post beds, a fireplace, and a small hallway, tiny thin hallway that had a bed in the thin hallway connecting it to another room. And I remember being too terrified to sleep separate from my dad at the time. So we both slept in that 4-post bed, if we even slept, with one eye open, imploring all these kind of ancient ghost hunting techniques, which was like, literally, I have the video. We sprinkled baby powder outside of the front door of our room just to see if there were any footsteps when we woke up. Like, really silly things.
That's hilarious.
Or going through the house and moving things slightly to see if like it would be moved back in or things like that.
That's hilarious. So is your dad a believer?
I think he is. Yeah, he's gone and visited Roswell and New Mexico and all that.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, he did that a few years ago. I haven't really gotten into the alien cryptid world, but he's really into it. So he's probably the one who got me into all of this. Yeah.
Nice. Has he ever told you any like of his personal experiences when you guys started doing these haunted tours? Or
no, I need to ask him more, because he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yep. And I know there's tons of stuff up there, like I'm sure he has stories from his childhood and whatever house he was in up there. I
Oh
should
yeah.
ask.
I hear a lot of stories out of Pennsylvania for sure.
Right.
You got like Gettysburg and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Oh,
So
I'd love to visit there. Yes.
yeah, which Gettysburg I really want to go to. I've heard that just like even if you don't like actually experience like an encounter or anything like that, it still feels like you can still feel like the energy and stuff like that.
Right.
So I
Right.
I, I would love to. My kids and I almost went one time. We were driving past it, and I was like, no, I just want to go home. I just want to get home."
Ah,
So, because we were on a road trip and we were driving forever anyway, so I was like, no, fuck that.
you'd be okay taking your kids. I mean, it
What's that?
is historical. You'd be okay taking your kids to like the haunted
Oh yeah,
battlefield type stuff.
yeah. My kids probably won't be, but I would be okay with it. My son, my son is more scared than my daughter is. My daughter's still scared. Me and my daughter went to Fort Knox here in Maine, which is supposedly like a super haunted fort up here. And it was funny too because there's like it's like a maze. You easily get lost in this place. And there's they had this section that was blocked off. It was like a little hallway but a door, but it said there was a sign on the door, "Do not open this door. It doesn't open," or something like that, but it was
Hmm.
dark also down the hall. And my daughter just kind of like stood there and was like, "Oh, what's down
Oh,
there?" And I was like, "It looks like a
oh,
door that says don't come in here." And she's like, "Oh, it's scary down there." And I was like, "Go
oh.
in there." And I pushed her. She's like, "Ah!" But
Well, kids are
my
like super sensitive to things too, right? Like that's the theory. Children are more sensitive to this kind of stuff. So she
yeah,
kind of
she
bring them and send them in there first. Feel it
yeah.
out.
And then I would know for sure if there's something in there.
Yeah.
But she's from what I know of, my daughter has experienced stuff that she's told me, and as far as I know, my son hasn't seen anything. So, and my daughter
Interesting.
said that she saw a shadow figure standing on my bed, in my bedroom one day when she walked by. Uh,
No.
Yeah, and I was like, "What? Really?" I had
How do
her.
you feel about that?
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Well, I did. I did something. Because I personally, in my own house, I've been seeing shadow figures for a while now. So when she told me that, and then I talked to somebody that consulted a pendulum, was like, these shadow figures aren't necessarily a good thing, and I was like, all right, I got to do something about it. So I did that. And I haven't seen them since, as of yet. So we'll see if they pop
Wow.
back up.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
It 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 is. It is. She was my daughter did the intro for um I believe it is episode 61. Yeah, it's episode 61 and she tells me that this is one of the first time that she told me the story of the person on
Oh
the
my
bed.
gosh.
And
I'm
I was
gonna
like,
check that
"What?"
out.
I'm like,
That
"What are you
is
talking about?"
that's sufficiently creepy. Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
So, do you have kids?
No, I have if you count, I have three furry children. I have three dogs.
Well, they sometimes see stuff. Do you ever like get like these weird instances where you think they're like seeing something?
You know, I believe that they have senses that we as humans are not attuned to. I think that because there are three of them and any little noise tends to set them off, and then they all join in the barking mayhem. Um, that's kind of how they operate. I don't think they're really great ghost detectors, but I think that animals do have senses and intuitions about things for sure. Like even
Okay.
like when it comes to weather and things like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely feel that. So after you did all this vacationing with your dad and these ghost tours and stuff, um you started investigating on your own like religiously or
Yeah,
like
so Oops. Sorry, I think I lost you. Okay.
No.
So after that, I went to college and I kind of got out of doing it for a long time because I was
Okay.
in college for a few years. And then once I graduated, I was just kind of focused on finding a job and stuff like that. So I didn't really focus too much on ghost hunting or traveling. And I kind of fell off of it for a long time. And then a lot of the shows that were coming out about it really kind of turned me off. Like,
Yeah.
man, they got kind of silly and you know, a little out there for me. So I just kind of fell out of the world for a while, but I still really maintained my passion for history, and learning and reading about strange things on my own. Um, and then what got me into it? I started traveling more with my wife once I met my wife. When we got married, we started traveling again. And that kind of really reignited that passion for like, oh, history and learning about different locations. And then that's when I kind of got into it again. Also, the whole Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman show, The Portals to Hell, and then what were the ones she did before that? Paranormal Lockdown? Was that with Nick?
I don't know
But
what
her
she did
Katrina
before.
Weidman and Jack really kind of drew me back in with the
Yep.
Portals to Hell series. And I was like, yes, this is cool. Like this is not that woo-woo stuff.
Yeah, they're
This
really
is
good.
yeah, trying to implement like some sort of system and experimentation, getting the real history, getting the interviews, getting all
Mm-hmm.
that qualitative data and sensory experience, and then doing the investigation and then getting their data. I really loved it. I thought it was great. So kind of drew me back in.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite part of like ghost hunters, and talking to people who go in and do investigations like yourself is just number one, seeing the like how passionate they are about the history. And I'll be honest, history was the only class that I've passed in high school. So
Oh,
um, I don't count. I
really?
mean, I passed gym, but gym's not a class. It's,
Okay.
it's, I, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But so history has always been like my favorite subject, just because you can find if you can like read it in between the lines, whether you're out there in the location or you're reading the stories and you're contrasting stories with other stories on the same subject, and you can sometimes find like hidden stories, I guess, if you know what I mean, um
right. I've found a
like you
lot
can
of that
kind of like
actually in doing research.
yeah,
Um, you start out with one story and then you're researching and then you're scouring the newspaper articles and then you find another little story inside that story that also could be incorporated into what's going on at a location. I
yeah.
found a couple of those just in Orlando with the haunted buildings. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's just it's amazing. And like I said, I mean history is it's happening all the time all around us.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, it's amazing. And I love watching videos of investigations and stuff like that, because they're pretty interesting. And I just literally went on my first ghost hunt when I was in Florida a
Oh,
couple weeks
really?
ago. So I was in Miami. I don't know if you know War Party at all, War Party Paranormal.
I've seen them online on Instagram. I think we are friends on Instagram, and they do things with 305.
Yep, 305.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 305, it is War Party. They but they do, because they're a married couple.
Oh,
Um they
okay.
they started like just like kind of doing their own thing, but they're not their own thing, but they are at the same time. It's the way they explained it to me was like, we just needed an Instagram handle, so that's what we came up with, and
I
then it just
see.
kind of went from there. But they're technically War Party, and
Okay.
I got really close with them, and then Black Smoke Paranormal just became a part of War Party as well, and I got close with them, and all of us together went to the old Davie School in Davie, Florida, and
Cool.
I did my first Estes. So that was pretty interesting. Where
How
like
was it for you?
it was pretty great. We're gonna be recording an episode with all of them, and then the video that we got from the Estes, I'm gonna be putting in that. So I don't want to talk too much about the Estes just
Oh,
because I want it to everybody to
mhm.
watch it or listen to it. Because I mean you don't have to watch the video to like hear it and understand it. So like, but it gets interesting. I will just say this one thing. Mondo does tell the spirit to touch me on the shoulder because this is my first ever time doing anything like
Mhm.
this. And then it felt like somebody was squeezing my shoulder like shortly after.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
was pretty interesting.
Very
Um,
interesting.
yeah, he's like, I was just after we were done, he's like, I wanted it to touch you, I wanted it to say your name, I wanted it to do this, I wanted it to do that. And yeah, it was a fun night. And then we went to Flanagan's, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah,
They're all
I know
like,
Flanagan.
yeah, you come down to Florida, you have to go to Flanagan's. You can't like not go. Everybody's got a cup from Flanagan's that we use
Yeah.
for something.
Oh
And
my God.
yeah, it's
I
they're
didn't really
picking.
realize that was a Florida stereotype. Flanagan's.
It's but yeah, no, it's pretty fun. So when you do your investigations, do you go with your wife or do you go just yourself?
It's mainly just me for now. So I've been trying to find places that I can go on my own that are on the safer side.
Yep.
Next, I think I'll be booking a location at the Lakeside Inn in Mount Dora.
Ooh,
Um, I'm gonna try to get my wife to come with me if we can. It's just a little hard with work schedules and things, but I'm gonna book a room there and try to do an overnight,
yeah.
maybe like a live stream and see what goes on there. That's a pretty cool location. It's a really old hotel. It's been in operation for 100 years, operating just as a hotel. And
Wow.
there's a lot of accounts of paranormal activity there. So I think that's going to be up next.
Nice, nice. Now is your wife like a believer or is she a skeptic like you? Because I think being skeptic is being a believer and a skeptic at the same time is a pretty healthy like balance because you're not always like,
Right.
oh, that's definitely paranormal, but you're also
Right.
not like, oh, that's definitely something else. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, definitely. She is a lot like me in that she is a skeptic, but also a believer. I would say she's a bit more of a believer. My wife is Brazilian. So she comes from a background where in Brazil, they still practice like African religions like candomblé or the darker macumba or things
Hmm.
like that. And that's still very much a part of culture in Brazil, just the normal thing to do to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to go to this person because I don't know if I'm on the right path and they'll do a ceremony. Like that still goes on.
Yeah.
And she has had one of those experiences herself where it was all true. It was all right. It was all came true. And so she's like, she does believe 100%. And she, because of that experience in Brazil, she's a little more hesitant to go places where there may be spirit activity or that there could be some kind of attachment, potential attachment. She's a little more frightened of that. Me, my curiosity tends to outweigh my fear. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's a good thing. Um, but that's kind of what propels me to not be too scared in these types of things or to seek it out more.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, that makes sense. Um, so what is your favorite uh tool to use when you do your investigating?
Just me.
Just
Just
you,
my senses.
you're the conduit.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been on investigations with dowsing rods and K2 meters and spirit boxes,
Hmm.
and I've done an Estes session. I'm so sorry. They're
No,
barking.
you're good.
Um, and those are really great tools for, I think, detecting changes in the environment with
Hmm.
what's going on with you personally and sensory wise. But I think the number one thing with the paranormal is really incorporating what we have evolved to do over years as humans, like all the senses that we train ourselves to ignore or by society standards, we're told, it's nothing, that's silly, brush it off, just focus on the logical part of life. I think that being sensitive or intuitive is something that you need to practice or do a lot or put yourself into a lot for it to be really honed in on, just like any other skill. I think all of us have the potential to be sensitive like that. So I have to say, the more I've gotten back into doing this, just your body and your senses and trusting your instincts and really feeling what's around you before you investigate, like just going in and sitting and feeling the room before you investigate is really crucial and vital to your investigation, I think.
So, in any of your investigations, have you been? I think you already said this in the beginning, so I apologize if you have. But have you ever seen anything physical, like any kind of figure of any kind?
Not outright like an apparition, like most people describe an apparition to be in their experiences. At Myrtle's, I think I probably just freaked myself out because they have these ceiling to floor curtains and they're across from the bed. Like, so if you sat up in bed, you'd be staring at this big long curtain and it's dark. And the whole thing with that place was there was a woman with a turban. And I thought for a split second I saw something, but I don't know if that was really anything. I was sleep deprived. I was terrified. I'm not sure. You see those things out of the corner of your eye. But that's the only experience I've really had with like visually seeing anything close to an apparition.
Okay.
We're just gonna go for. Oh, we don't. Don't know if I'm gonna need. Do I need a thumbnail for this one? I don't know. Are we ready? If you love all things dark history and paranormal, you're in the right place. Hi, What was that? Do you hear that? I'm trying to record the introduction for my brand new YouTube channel and there are noises coming from behind me, which there shouldn't be. Like, I'm completely home alone right now. It's a B&M chair. Cheap LEDs. It's just cardboard boxes. It's a puppy! Hi! And there's also a cat. There are no ghosts. I made it all up. I know, I got you with my good acting. Yeah, no, that's not what we're doing here. Because be real with me, have you ever found yourself 4 hours into a binge of a ghost hunting show with the shaking night vision camera footage and the wide-eyed ghost hunters screaming at their own shadows thinking, there is absolutely no way this is real? Yeah, me too. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I am more interested in the history of a haunted house and the origins of an urban legend and the actual lived experiences of people that have encountered paranormal activity firsthand, rather than watching a group of people filming themselves in a dark room. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some amazing ghost investigators, especially on YouTube. Like, some of the investigations that I've seen are amazing, and I do absolutely live for a Class 8 EVP or like a terrifying image of a shadow figure. But most of the time, the context and the history make the haunting so much more compelling for me. And if that sounds like a bit of you, then I think we've just become best friends. So you're going to want to hit that subscribe button because every week we are going to be sitting down and swapping ghost stories like a good old sleepover, chatting about all things morbid, mysterious, and macabre. Have you got a paranormal experience that you'd like to share, or do you know of a haunted location that you'd like me to cover? Please leave me a comment or throw me a DM over on Instagram. You can find me at Don't Scare Claire. I absolutely love hearing all about your encounters with what lies beyond our realm. I cannot wait to get into all the spooky things with you, and maybe we might learn a thing or two about some history too. I know, I promise I won't be like your boring history teacher. But until next time, sleep safe. You showing everyone your butthole? Yeah. That's not stable. I would not lean on that. Okay, we're done.
Okay. All right. So, sorry. So in your investigations and the what you believe spirits to be, do you think that these are actually like people that have passed, or do you think, like, because a lot of like religious people claim that if you're experiencing something paranormal, it's demonic. So what do you think what do you think the paranormal is? Do you think that they're people that have passed, or do you think they're demonic, or do you think they could just be interdimensional people that are just peering through the past or from the future or something like that?
Right, right. I think that my idea of what is going on has definitely shifted since I first started getting into this in the early 2000s. I think that in order to more fully understand something like this, we need to rule out all of the likely natural causes of what's going on first, and then develop some kind of direct sensory evidence of some type. So I don't think ghosts are what we think they are. I don't think that they are disgruntled souls that can't move on and are trapped. And I'm not sure even about the communications that we do get with all of these instruments. You know, the instruments aren't really designed to detect ghosts, they detect changes in the environment. And a lot of the intelligent responses we think we get when we're asking these questions aren't really done in a proper scientific format for like the types of questions you ask, you know, touch that, turn that on, make that go off, like make that go off is off, turn that on, off. So like I think there's a big, what I'm hoping to do in my investigations is bring more of a scientific method type structure to it, where you observe what's going on, then you really, really research the heck out of the location and what you're wanting to investigate. And the research is vital because the context of a location provided by the history is really going to keep the investigation valid, like honest. Because if your history is off, or you start to Google things and just kind of follow that arbitrary history of what's been going on and it's not accurate, your whole investigation is going to be around some little kid named Henry that is not a kid at all. And what, you know, I really want to hone in on what it could actually be by taking a really methodic approach. So after you observe and then research the place and you've got all that under your belt, then really kind of forming a hypothesis and then testing it, and then analyzing the data you get, and then reporting it, and then just keep doing it over and over and over and over until we kind of can hone in more with a typology for what a ghost is. I think they're doing that a lot with aliens now, types of aliens and things, right? They're categorizing them more and getting more of a classification system.
Yes.
But with hauntings and with what quote unquote ghosts are, I think it's kind of the Wild West still. I think a lot more groundwork needs to be laid on,
for sure,
getting all of these experiences and information into a way we can logically apply it to investigations.
Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. I was just talking to, who was it? I think it was Alex, Alexander Pedikov, and he was talking about, or maybe I just heard him talking on another podcast, which could very likely be. But he was talking about how he wants to like be able to, like, he thinks like all the Bigfoot people should be able to come together and like, because there's like so many different types of Bigfoot, and they're like, I guess they're starting to like categorize like the experiences that are in the sightings and stuff like that. And the descriptions to like in the to the areas and stuff like that. So
neat. So like
so
really
it's cool that
documenting.
they're doing it with that, but like you said, it's not really done with when it comes to the paranormal. So it'd be great to like really start doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, really.
just like you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yep. Documenting all of these experiences and getting them all together in some kind of like forming like a database for comparison. So we can really start keeping track of what is going on here and not being all, you know, willy-nilly running and screaming down a dark hallway and filming it over and over and over for seasons.
But that's how you stay in business.
Sure, and that's what makes movies, and we all love horror movies.
I know. I think the first time I ever watched, so I watched Taps. Taps was pretty decent, I thought.
Yeah.
back in the day. But the one that you're talking about, I remember the
Mm.
very first time I ever saw it, and I can't remember where he was. I think it was like an old castle or something, and I think like a breeze came through, and he's like, and he
Right.
just like did that and stared at the camera, and I was just like, what the fuck is he doing?
Right.
He's
Right.
like, it just got really cold.
It's so, yeah, like
I
you
was
don't
like,
know if
oh
you're
my God, that's
actually
cringy.
scared of like what's going on. Are you more scared of what's going on in the show? Or are you more scared of like his face right now? Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, and then it like zoomed in on his face, and he's just like, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
I know.
But I mean, like you said, I mean, we don't know 100. There goes my light.
Ooh.
Oh, God damn it. I didn't charge it long enough, I guess.
Mm.
Ugh. Get this light up. Um, all
As
right.
we talk about running down
So,
dark hallways screaming.
haha. So, you haven't really had, I think you said you don't get really into the aliens and stuff or whatever, but do you believe in any cryptids at all? Like, I know you're not like familiar with it or anything, but do you believe Bigfoot could be real?
I think there's a possibility of something because I did visit the Bigfoot Museum. Where was it? In Georgia? Where did we stay? In Georgia. And it was really interesting because they have maps with sightings that they've marked off across Florida and Georgia. And this is actually a legend that exists across cultures. So that kind of makes my antennas perk up. Like there is
Absolutely.
something, not sure what. Um, I don't I don't think it's not real for sure. Um, and one more thing about the idea of a ghost, touching on that, I'm more inclined to believe that it's some kind of parallel universe or time slip or overlap than, some demon or entity coming back and messing with us for one reason or another. I think like maybe the concept of ley lines is kind of intriguing. It's not yet proven though. But I don't think we're the only things in the universe. So the idea that something is like maybe they're watching us, like they're just looking at us, just like we study animals on our planet. They're looking at us, experimenting on us or looking at our life here on Earth. And I don't know, maybe that's what's happening, or there's things overlapping and energies are being triggered, and you're just at the right place in the right time when you experience these weird phenomenon happening, because it's not all the time, it's not consistent. There's a lot of questions.
There is a lot of questions, that's for sure. You're not wrong in that aspect. A lot of people, there was a lot of people, or maybe it is a lot of people, I guess. But I've heard stories of people like saying that, and a lot of people that are experiencing these like alien experiences, like abductions or whatever, they're just experiencing like a paranormal thing. Like they're basically they're saying that cryptids, aliens, and ghosts are all the same thing. Which
Mm,
I guess maybe,
hmm,
but I mean, because you hear stories about, I don't know if you have, but I've heard stories of, Bigfoot like mind speaking or
mhm.
infrasound, which actually, Alexander Petikoff actually told me that elephants can use infrasound to affect people. And I think there's like a primate that or a gorilla that uses infrasound to affect females,
Oh,
maybe to
really?
attract the females to them or something like that. But they like it's scientifically proven that these animals have infrasound, so there's something to like Bigfoot
Right,
actually being able to
right,
use
right.
that.
Definitely. I wouldn't discount that at all. There's so many, animals yet, I mean, we don't discover them as much as we used to, but we're discovering tiny little new species still, and what they can do and what animals have evolved to do. So for sure.
Well, friends, I need you to take a second. Head on over to www.fineartmedium.com. Emily is a medium, a working medium at that. She does readings, and she's artsy. She does graphic design. So, if you're in the market for a logo, because maybe you're starting a business, maybe you're even starting a podcast, and your logo needs met, Emily is who you want to reach out to. I promise you won't be disappointed in her artwork. I also know that if you need a reading, past life regression, this medium, not only is she compassionate, she's extremely intelligent. She will get your needs met. You can go onto her website, you can see all of her reviews. I promise you, my friends, you won't be disappointed in this. So give her your time if you're in the need for it. She made a couple of my t-shirt designs, and we're working on a comic book. So if you have graphic design needs, check her out. As always, my friends, stay weird. What is what is the place that you want to investigate the most that you haven't? Like, what is your like dream investigation place?
Oh boy. It's gonna be Dracula's castle in Romania.
That'd be amazing. I
I
think
mean,
that'd be amazing.
that's just fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating on its own without the haunted nature, but I mean, anywhere where horrible things have happened, it's either the energy or the trapped souls or something's there. So who knows? But yeah, I'd love to go there.
Yeah, I would love for you to go there so I can watch the video, because
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
No, you wouldn't?
I mean, maybe. I probably, honestly, actually, I probably would. But yeah, no, I think like the whole like vampirism thing has always been intriguing, and
It is
that's
very, very intriguing.
yeah, that's a whole another thing too. Like, we could go down like a rabbit hole on vampirism and stuff, because there's like cults that practice like that stuff, but it's not like the whole like lore. You know what I mean? Like in the movies and stuff like that, it's completely different.
I know.
But there has been I don't know if you know the guys from Cryptid Warfare.
I don't.
Okay, so they were on not too long ago on this show, and they were talking about this guy who was on another podcast, and he had said that this this cult that he was a part of, or a secret society, would use cocaine to like numb, like they would constantly sniff cocaine, and then he would get it on his gums, and he would be so like high on cocaine, so when he would bite onto somebody to like draw their blood, like the cocaine would be so like in his saliva that
it would go into their
cause that
bloodstream.
area. Yeah, it would cause that area to numb on the person, so the person wouldn't even know that they're being bit.
Did that really happen?
Supposedly this was a real interview.
That's fascinating. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was crazy. They were telling me this. And they told me this off air, of course. And I was just like, God
Ah,
damn it. But and I forget the guy's name too, but he said like in the society they had the secret society that he was given the choice to be a werewolf or a vampire, and like a vampire is more of like the luxury and the sexy and
mhm.
you get to seduce women and stuff like that. So he like that's what intrigued him more. And then I guess to be a werewolf was painful because you were more of a soldier, and the process of changing into a werewolf was
Right.
painful. So he chose vampirism. But yeah, he was, I guess he was telling these people, whatever podcast that this guy was on, he was just like, yeah, he's like, and then when I would taste blood, it was giving me that like cocaine high because I was so fucked up on cocaine for so long. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was just like, what in the world is this? So, have you ever met anybody that was like interested in vampirism in your life?
For real?
Yeah.
Like, no, not for real. I had my bachelorette party at a secret. We got married in New Orleans, so we had our joint bachelorette party with friends at a vampire speakeasy in New Orleans. If you're gonna meet
Uh,
one, I think I may meet one there, but I didn't meet a real one there or anything. I know that a lot of it's not something I'm well versed in, but I know a lot of people like identify, I guess, as
yeah,
a vampire or type of vampire. Um, I don't know a lot about that, but you may know a vampire and not even know, I
that's
guess.
true. That's true. You're right. Um, I get, yeah.
In the
Um,
traditional sense, no, I haven't known any. Have you?
no, I have not. I would be interested in meeting one, just as long as they don't get too close. Obviously, we know that the movies glorify it, like they're not like super fast. They're not
No. Right,
super strong or anything like that. They just drink blood.
right. I
Essentially,
did.
they're just people that drink blood is what they are.
There was a show that covered this topic, but I think it was a group of werewolves, right?
Yeah.
It was like this communal group where people who maybe came from a bad background or didn't have a good family or something, they all kind of found each other and formed this kind of not coven, but whatever, like pack.
Yeah.
um, and they did things like, they would sharpen their teeth or have certain things they would eat on certain days, like meat and things. There
I
are
think
there are
I know.
groups
I think I heard what you're talking about, but
on this show. It was on a show, and it was kind of like a
yes,
documentary about it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, people are weird, you know.
yeah.
I mean,
Um, there's elements to vampirism and the idea of being a werewolf that are attractive for sure. The communal nature of the werewolf, or the sexy, powerful, alluring, I live forever nature of a vampire. Who doesn't want that? I mean, I would trade not being able to be in the sun to be a vampire any day.
it's just saying, I need the sun. I need the sun.
You like it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Also, I do want to live longer than the life expectancy, but I don't want to live forever. You know what I
That's the
mean?
curse. But I always think, like, what's the big deal? Like, okay, you can just step out into the sunlight or stake yourself whenever you're ready. You don't have to live forever.
That's true. You have a point. You have a point, ma'am. um, so going back to like you being an investigator, if you
Mhm.
ever had to give like advice to anybody that was just starting out or just was interested in starting, what would that advice be?
I would say definitely to find a group of people that you're really able to communicate and bounce ideas off of with, and people that you trust in investigations. I witnessed something recently where I went to a location and did kind of a group investigation, and it was with people I didn't know, of course. which is totally fine. That's how you meet people as well. But I found it hard to trust some of the things that were occurring at this investigation because I didn't know these people and I'm not sure their motive behind, just the stuff that was going on was a little out there. Like, yeah, like, come on. You know, I would say to find people that you know and that you trust to investigate with for sure. Find a good group of people. That would be my number one. That's my most recent experience with it. And then my second would be to stay open, but always through that kind of objective lens as much as you can be. So kind of combine, your senses with that, okay, well, trying to analyze what is going on here. Why? What is it? Stay smart about it.
All right. So this, I don't know if you actually, I think you said that you've listened to a couple episodes, but I always try to see if the guest believes in any conspiracy. So basically, do you have a belief in any certain conspiracy that is out there?
I mean, I think that the government does know of alien intelligence and everything that happened. Something happened in Roswell. I don't know a lot about the whole Roswell thing and the government stuff, but I do think that they covered something up and that they withhold knowledge from us of something that's out there that's being studied and they're trying to keep it under wraps. So extraterrestrials.
I agree with that. The Roswell crash happened in 47, right? Or is it 48? Either way, a lot of this like weird high strangeness and like occurrences happened in like 47 and 48. So like so there's a river up here in Maine that is supposedly cursed, and it's cursed for three white people die every year on this river. In 47, either 47 or 48 was the only year that nobody died. And then fucking I can't think of the other shit, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff like on podcasts that I've been on or like topics that we've been talking about, and it's always like something happened in 47 or 48, and I'm just like every time that comes up, I'm just like Roswell. Like they'll say like 47.
Right.
Oh, this happened in 47. I'm like, oh wow, that's weird. Roswell. And they're like,
Right.
oh yeah.
That is really interesting. I don't know too much about conspiracy theories, but that's a bit fascinating.
Yeah. It's super interesting. But yeah, I mean, well, the government did come out not too long ago and tell us that aliens were real, but I think there's an ulterior motive to that.
Definitely. Of course.
So.
I think the government is just one big don't trust them.
Yes. We should wipe it clean. That's what I think. But not everybody agrees with me, but it is what it is. But Ashlie, this is probably one of my favorite questions to ask people, and I usually tend to ask it towards the end, but are you finding fulfillment in your life in what you're doing?
I am. Definitely.
Perfect.
I feel more connected to the world around me when I research the past more so than I do in the present society. I am fulfilled. I think that the thirst or to always keep pushing forward and that thirst for knowledge is a really good human characteristic to have, and it makes me feel good to do it.
Nice. I also wanted to ask, how long have you and your wife been together?
We've been together for 7 years. We got married in 2019 though.
Nice. 7 years is a long time.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, I mean
that 10-year mark.
Yeah, it's impressive.
it's impressive, especially when you still feel that like love, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know how to describe it, but when you still like, yeah, this is my person.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go to them with anything and you feel that connection and safety, and you want to run to them with every little thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, Ashlie, if you don't mind, because I definitely forgot to have you do this in the beginning. For whatever reason, I don't know why I forgot, but if you want to let everybody know where they can find you and wherever you, I don't know if you have a YouTube or anything like that, but whatever you have for your investigations and whatnot, if you feel free to share that now.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. So for now, it's mainly just Instagram. So on Instagram, it's at Ghost Story Girl. There are a few TikToks. So Ghost Story Girl Florida is the TikTok. But mainly I put content out on Instagram for now. I'm hoping I have a website idea in the works for documenting, all of the research I mentioned before. So that's probably going to be called Project Haunted, and that's in the works, and that'll be up probably beginning or mid next year. But for now, Ghost Story Girl is where it's at.
Nice. Well, Ashlie, it's been lovely talking to you. I feel
Wow.
like we're just friends reconnecting, so
Yeah, I feel
that's
the
pretty
same.
cool.
Yep, we're vibing.
Yes, ma'am. But everybody at home, please go check Ashlie out on her Instagram and keep the website in mind for all of her stuff and check out her TikTok and whatnot. But that is the show. If you want to be featured on the show, it's where the weird ones are at gmail.com, _the weird ones are on Instagram, and obviously just where the weird ones are on Facebook. Reach out to me on any one of those. Instagram is where I'm most active. You want to talk conspiracies, you want to tell your stories, all that stuff. Like, follow, share, subscribe. That's the only way to help this show grow. If you're interested in merch, it's etsy.com/shop/where the weird ones are. Obviously you don't have to get anything, but if you want to look at it, that's cool too. And what else? Leave a rating and a review. That'd be great. I mean, even if you think I deserve a 1-star, but I'd prefer at least 2. But with that being said, Ashlie, thank you so much again for taking a piece of your life and choosing to spend it with me. Because like I tell everybody, this wouldn't be much of a show if I didn't have people like you to talk to. I'd just be talking to myself. Not that I wouldn't do it, but I don't know if it'd be as entertaining.
That may be just as entertaining, but in an entirely different way. No, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I loved chatting with you. Hope we get to do it again down the road.
I was just gonna say we should do it again in like a little while after you do maybe some more investigations, and maybe you come up with, maybe you see something, or I don't know.
Right.
But
Definitely.
either way, we should definitely reconnect on here. Other than that, I'm sure we'll stay in touch anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
So, but again, thank you, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yep, I had a great time.
All right, everybody, question everything and stay weird.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. make a wish.